Standardized reading assessments require students to include evidence from most or all sources provided, which means not only are students referencing details from the text, but they're also tracking the sources to make sure they use something from everything. When first teaching this, you can have students taking notes and jotting details on different color sticky notes, or different colored paper, using different colored pens, or even changing the font color in their paper. Using color is a great strategy when you're first teaching students to track their sources and make sure they're using each of them. But we can't do that on standardized test day. So we need to provide students another tool to collect details, but sort them from the sources. When transitioning from using color to a graphic organizer, you might have a little hybrid where you use both. They use the left side of a graphic organizer to simply list each text title. And as they're collecting relevant details for whatever the question is, they're making note from each text of what those evidences might be. Then, when writing the first draft, we just need to make sure that students are using some of the details from each of these texts. But again, we have to transition from a color coding system to just a black and white process. This time, students will list the titles on the left with a pencil and again, take notes on relevant details from each source per row. Then, as they start to write, they just need to make sure they're pulling evidence from each text. But eventually, even the graphic organizer needs to go away. We can simply provide students scratch paper for them to make a simple chart to list each text title on the left, collecting relevant details on the right, and again, making sure as they draft to pull something from every source. Not only does this tracking process ensure they're using details from all texts provided, but it also helps students remember which detail came from which text, so their citations will be stronger.